We have been talking a lot about how we live in a choose-your-own-adventure type society, where you've got people like Donald Trump who will just manufacture claims straight out of thin air so he can justify some of the shitty things that he wants to do. Whether it be, trying to steal an election by spreading a whole bunch of lies about dead voters and fraudulent ballots, or whether it be, imposing tariffs on Canada by spreading the lie that there's a whole bunch of fentanyl coming across the border. And now you have the wealthiest man in the world who is using this exact same strategy to come after your Social Security. And as we talked about the other day, he is spreading a whole bunch of lies about tons of fraud in the Social Security system, and he is trying to use that as a pretense to either shut it all down or privatize it all. For those of you that need a reminder, here is that clip. And if you guys do appreciate my work, please do remember to subscribe.
I mean, the way it's important in entitlement spending, which is which is most of the federal spending is entitlements. So that's like the big one to eliminate, because that's the sort of $500 billion, maybe $700 billion a year. That is also a mechanism by which the Democrats attract and retain illegal immigrants by essentially paying them to come here, and then turning them into voters.
Yes.
So this is why the Democrats are so upset about the situation, because they're losing, if we turn off this gigantic money magnet for illegal immigrants, then they will leave and they'll lose voters.
So not only does this asshole want you to believe that there is upwards of $700 billion of fraud in the Social Security system, but then he takes it a step further by claiming that Democrats are using the Social Security system to carry out the Great Replacement theory. We're using the system to attract undocumented immigrants, paying them with Social Security money and trying to turn them into voters somehow. That is what Elon Musk wants you to believe. He has not provided a shred of evidence showing that this is even close to true. He's not posting receipts on the Doge website like he is claiming to do. Elon Musk is full of shit. And John Larson, a representative from Connecticut, is starting to figure all this stuff out. And he recently put forward a resolution in the House Ways and Means Committee that would compel Elon Musk to turn over his plan for Social Security. And what do you know? Republicans blocked it. And John Larson went on to give an impassioned speech about how Republicans are giving up all of their power. They are not being accountable to their voters, and instead they are capitulating to Elon Musk and Donald Trump. And everybody needs to see this speech. Pass it around to all of your friends. Let's go ahead and kick things off by Larson calling out Republicans for ceding all of their power.
A sad morning. Very sad morning. When this committee, the oldest and most continuous in the Congress, neglects its responsibility and essentially holds this hearing today to block any further discussion. The men and women on this committee are good people. They're honest and caring people. And that's why I do not understand why you would relegate this committee to no longer being of significance and resort to saying you will do whatever Elon Musk and Donald Trump tell you to do.
Things are just getting warmed up. I promise you're going to want to stick around for what comes next. But what he is saying here is true. Republicans are just ceding all of their power to Donald Trump and Elon Musk. The Congress was established, the first article of the Constitution. They have the power of the purse. They are the ones who write the laws that this country is supposed to follow. And instead of taking their power and using it to craft laws for this country, they are allowing Elon Musk and Donald Trump to run roughshod over our federal government and letting them do whatever it is that they want to do. They are abdicating their responsibility as a Congress. This should be unacceptable, and every single one of these Republicans need to be voted out of office. They're not serious people. They are not governing. They do not know how to govern. This is why it's so important to vote Democrat up and down the ticket, because at least when Democrats are in power, they are trying to work on behalf of the American people, passing laws, respecting the Constitution, but that is not what we are getting from these Republicans. Larson then goes on to call out the lack of independence, which this committee should have.
Where's the independence of the committee? Where's the legislature? We're an equal branch of government. And you start off with a blather, and yet look at the empty seats here. Where's Elon Musk? I'm sure he's a genius and is a very credible person because of the wealth he's accumulated. But that does not put him above the law or the responsibility to come before this committee in this Congress. If he's so great, if these plans and all the fraud and abuse that he's found are so eminent, why isn't he here explaining it? You know why. Because he's out to privatize Social Security. He's been on television the last couple of days talking exactly about Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, and what he intends to do. Privatize it. The American people, some of them may have been born at night, but not last night. People are aware of this. Every single one of your districts, all the money that comes in monthly, and you have not done, you as a Congress, have not done anything in more than 54 years. And now you have someone coming in to privatize a system, something you have longed to do going back to 1982, because Elon Musk thinks that this is the best thing to do. President Trump has called Social Security a scam. Elon Musk, as Mr. Neal said, called it a Ponzi scheme.
Wow. This is the type of energy that we need in Congress. Our Congress members need to push back against this authoritarian takeover that is currently underway in our federal government. Republicans are ceding all of their power to Donald Trump and Elon Musk. That should be unacceptable to every American person. That is not how the government is supposed to function. That is not how it was structured. That is not what it was set up to do. But instead of taking any responsibility or any power at all, they're just ceding it all. And then you won't even let Democrats subpoena Elon Musk or get him in front of a committee so they can ask him some basic questions about what he intends to do with our Social Security. These people are feckless cowards, man. I just don't have any other words for it. These people are pathetic. They do not know how to govern. And they're just allowing this authoritarian takeover to play out right before their very eyes because they're so damn terrified that Donald Trump might damage them politically or Elon Musk might fund a primary against them. Get these people out of Congress. They do not deserve to be there. Larson goes on to say, what are you going to tell your voters in your district who rely on these programs?
Ask that of the people in your district. Ask that, Mr. Smith, of the more than 198,000 people in your district who rely on Social Security, and you won't even let the person who's planning to privatize it, who's telling the big lie in front of everyone, bold as he possibly can, saying, this is what we're going to do. The Congress is in our back pocket. We don't even have to come before them and testify because we control the House, we control the Senate, and we control the presidency. And it's the tyranny of the executive. It's why these resolutions were first adopted back in 1789, because the founding fathers knew that the executive branch does not have total authority over the legislature unless you have a willing party that says, no, we're going to do exactly what you tell us to do, Mr. Musk and Mr. President. It doesn't matter to our constituents. It doesn't matter how much money they are not going to receive. We're not even going to tell them the truth about what's going to happen to them.
Just think about how grotesque that actually is. These people are coming for your Social Security, and then you've got Republicans abandoning their town halls because they were so scared of their pissed off voters. And you've got Larson here calling out this big lie strategy. This is the same thing that Donald Trump did when he wanted everybody to believe that the election was stolen from him. You manufacture these lies. You espouse them over and over and over and over again. And some of the American public, they start to believe you. And then you can use that rage to get your supporters to attack our Capitol, to try to stage an insurrection against the United States of America. That is the exact same strategy that they are using to come after your Social Security. They are coming after your earned benefits. And why do they want to come after it? They either want to tear it all down to the ground or they want to privatize it, as Larson spells out here. This is the last clip.
And every single one of these districts where they're being shut down and their personnel, and as Mr. Neal said, Dan, after you cut and eliminate the people, say the agency isn't responding accordingly. No other agency operates for under less than 1%. With that, they administer to over 70 million people in the nation's #1 anti-poverty program for the elderly and children. Shame! Shame! Can't bring people in front of this body? If he's right, if they're so good, if they're so just, why aren't they here telling the American people about it? They're not, because you know the truth. It's about privatization. I yield back.
The world's #1 anti-poverty program. You know, before Social Security came to be, I think it was 2/3 or something close to there of seniors lived in poverty, below the poverty line. Is that the world that they want to go back to? Now you hear all these conservative freaks try to say, well, you should just give me that money. I can invest it better. You know what? It's a social insurance program for a reason. It's a pay-as-you-go system because we understood as Americans that we didn't want our elderly out on the streets living out their last days. We didn't want them living in dilapidated houses, whole bunch of them packed in like sardines, which is what was happening before Social Security came along. And now these wealthy billionaire assholes, they want to tear the system down because what? They think they can run it better as a private entity? Fuck these assholes. You have the wealthiest man in the world who has built his wealth off the back of the American system, and he's coming for your benefits because he thinks he knows what's best. The American people need to vote these spineless Republicans out of office. And we need more of this John Larson energy to fight back against this fasci takeover. You've got the wealthiest of us all trying to tell the American people that they know what is best for them. trying to rip their democracy away, running away from town halls because they're too cowardly to face their very pissed off voters. The Trump administration knows that getting rid of Social Security is very, very, very unpopular. And that's why they are using this choose your own adventure strategy to sell a lie to the American people so they can carry out their shitty behavior. This is the tried and true playbook from Donald Trump and his cohort. We need to fight back against it. I'm glad that John Larson is starting to do that here. This is a man who has been fighting for Social Security to strengthen Social Security. Of course he's going to be pissed off, just like the rest of America is pissed off right now. So, I will leave it there for now, guys. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share it with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. Like I said, we've got to build something here on the left that can adequately push back against this right-wing media ecosystem and the brain rot of this MAGA movement. So, if you do like what I do here, please do remember to subscribe. It is free. If you guys want to see how this big lie strategy works, how Donald Trump has used it before, and how he is trying to use it again to come after your earned benefits, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.